think I might be on a roll. I'm not sure. Maybe the next Martha Stewart without a criminal record. Hello everyone, it's Muffy again, and welcome to my latest YouTube video. This is part 2 of a series of me basically cooking, making food, being temporarily domestic. In the last episode, I went through a whole ordeal of making stuffed Cornish game hen with vegetables, and it was fun, it was challenging, and I'm not a cook at all by any means. I have a very limited education, and some of those things just escape me. I would just much rather look fabulous, be fabulous, and worry about my titties, my twat, and my fabulousness. So I've been doing a bit of research. Oh, how I love research. Oh, at any rate. So, doing research on cooking, which is why I got the last recipe. And so I thought about it, and I was like, there's going to be so much leftover chicken. And I was like, what can we do to repurpose the leftover chicken? And so I found a wonderful recipe for a chicken salad. And I'm gonna kind of go through the motions of it for you right now, batches. So for starters, I'm gonna chop up some celery. Chopping celery, chopping celery. Oh yeah, I'm chopping celery. Do it by hand, they said. It always works better by hand. That's a golden rule in my life usually, but not when it applies to cooking. And we are also adding some red onion to this recipe, which is nice because there was so much left over from the previous one. I'm a frugal bitch, I'm a frugal bitch. The next ingredient I'm adding is some chopped apples, and there's no specific apple that you have to use in this recipe. I chose a red one. I know there's several red ones. I don't know their names, I don't care. But red apples coming up next. Okay, now that I'm done doing the apples, we're gonna actually add some of the wet ingredients. Now the thing is, you don't want to add a lot of seasoning to this, so you've got to rely on your wet ingredients to make most of the flavor. You want to rely on the celery, the onion, the apples, and what do you have left over from the chicken to flavor this. Or so the recipe says. Oh, I hope I don't have to cite this damn recipe. Oh. Okay, so the primary wet ingredient is going to be mayonnaise. And, one thing I just happen to think about with my recipe videos, especially the previous one and this one, I don't give measurements. As I've kind of mentioned, I come from the bog swamps of Louisiana. I didn't get a proper education until somehow I was adopted by another family, after Mom Paul released me out into the world and I at least got a GED. Hell, I haven't pursued any higher education, so yeah, bear with me a little bit, bitches. So mayonnaise. I'm going to use this as the main ingredient. I'm thinking that should be, well, let's add a couple more because we're going to have chicken and this eventually. I'm making this up ahead of time before the chicken's done, so. Okay, so the next ingredient we're going to add is a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And not very much because this is very powerful and it adds a lot of flavor. So we're also going to add some Dijon mustard. Also not a lot because it does pack a punch. And there is some sour cream involved in here. Gonna kind of mute some of the stronger flavors from what I read. Because I don't know this shit. I'm just trying to sound like I know shit. Well, at least I don't. That's why it is. To work, come home, raise children, and make dinner. No, I'm not that kind of woman. I do what I want. Now we're going to add some Parmesan cheese. Now, I'm pretty sure this can be as liberal as you so desire, but you want to make sure it doesn't dry out your wet ingredients. Dry versus wet. I always prefer to be wet, bitches. Okay. So for spices for this, we're just going to call on a couple little things. We're going to use some garlic powder. We're going to use some basil. And we're going to be pretty liberal with the basil. Because even though the chicken is cooked with lemon and pepper and rosemary, we don't want to get the savory aspect of the rosemary too strong in the salad. So you want something a little bit more to counteract that. And there's a sweetness to basil. God, where am I coming up with this shit? I have no idea. Anyways, and then we're also going to add some black pepper. I wasn't meant to do anything but be fabulous. Hold it down, Muffy. Hold it down. Ooh. Oh, I think the oven's making me hot. That's why. Oh my god, I forgot the nuts. There's so much going on with this. I mean, there's chicken, there's celery, onion, apples, and now nuts. Oh my gosh, it's just insane. Do it. All of these are going in there. Oh. I'm really tempted to add some of those dried cranberry pomegranate things I put in the stuffing for the last recipe, but we want to take a little bit of a departure, and nuts are good and everything. So right now, I'm just going to take and mix all this together in this container, which is not going to be big enough. Once I add the chicken, I'm a little too excited about all this. I'm kind of thinking that maybe I'll have to abandon men altogether, because right now this cooking bullshit is satisfying me in ways that I have never ever known before. Oh, if you could smell this. Alright, here we go. Onion, a little celery, and nuts. I need some nuts here. Okay, so I'm trying the base of it. It's fabulous without the chicken. I can only imagine it's going to be even better with the chicken, but goodness gracious batches. This is food genius right here.